Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, well, thank you very much for your invitation to join you on this, your rather special occasion, celebrating your 75th anniversary. Well worth celebrating. The role of the UKWA is just as important now as when some bright spark thought of introducing it as a concept at a rather interesting period in history. In 1944, there was an awful lot going on. And any of you who have contemplated the complexities of the D-Day landings will understand that there was somebody there who had a pretty good grip of logistics and warehousing in order to get that actually underway. In some respects, it's astonishing you as an organisation didn't start slightly earlier, because this was a major build-up. But an interesting period in history, and it's been changing rapidly really ever since, although the basics, of course, remain exactly the same. But the contribution it makes to the economy can be counted in billions, and it does employ almost 8% of the working age population of this country. Now that's probably something that not many people realise, and it doesn't equally realise, I suspect, the levels of skills required in this modern, very modern sector. It has grown to embrace what somebody laughingly could have described as simple storage, i.e. big shed, place to put something, remember where you put it and see if you can find it later. And by the way, I am Colonel-in-Chief of the Royal Logistic Corps, so I do understand what I'm doing. Sorry to say, nowadays you won't get away with that, either attitude or approach. You're talking driverless vehicles, drones, automation, and robotics at really all levels, and a degree of digitization and Wi-Fi connectivity that most people would absolutely not understand was in this sector. And of course it does affect every part of our lives, but is almost completely invisible to the average customer. So I'm sorry to say that the 8% who do understand, the rest probably don't. That's quite a gap. And this is partly why I think this organisation is so important, because it is about not just maintaining standards within the sector to make sure that the individuals who serve within it have the right access to the training and education required, but it is about building those bridges with your customers and beyond who don't quite get the complexities of the entire sector and the investment in it. Now, the link with Transaid is a more recent one, but there was no doubt that the charity sector, and particularly big overseas aid agencies, did suffer from a lack of understanding and a lack of access to expertise in delivery of aid. They got plenty of money to do things on the ground, but not a lot of understanding about how to get the equipment, the food, and the people to where they were needed. And in Sudan in the 1980s, the Save the Children was really given a job which was logistics. It was asked to move food across a country the size of Europe and then deliver it. And we knew we had a problem in terms of accessing the right sort of volunteers and the right sort of expertise to allow us to run that as efficiently as possible. Oddly enough, some of the volunteers who were easy to find, the railways were all steam, engines largely built in Great Britain, and there are sufficient steam engine enthusiasts left in the 1980s to make sure that those ran. What happened afterwards was slightly more of a question. And that really raised the issue, both to Save the Children and to others, I think, the importance of understanding logistics and where it fitted in. And it was that critical role that, from which Transaid was born. Through CILT, they took on the Save the Children's beginnings of an organisation, beginnings of a link to look for volunteers. And in 1998, it became an independent agency in its own right. And over the last 20 years, has moved to some extent from that immediate aid response to focusing on transforming lives, as you've been hearing, through safe, available and sustainable transport, which is where you need to go after an emergency anyway, is to re-establish all those things which are fundamentally important. So UKWA Housing has supported Transaid in its work since 2013. And it's a real encouragement to us to know that you want to support it in this, your 75th anniversary year, as you've already raised tens of thousands of pounds for Transaid. And we really look forward to what we can do, and I hope what you've seen today will encourage you that that money is well spent. It is very much about raising the skill sets in country. It is sustainable because it's the right information in the right place. And time again, that training will pay for itself and at the value to the community in which they live. UKWA Housing has achieved a great deal over the decades, and it has been keeping pace with those changes by encouraging investment in training, in education, embracing diversity and highlighting, particularly to young people, the many career opportunities within modern logistics. And I find myself saying this to schools and educational centres, that there is no such thing as an unskilled job. Please pay attention to what careers are on offer in places that you wouldn't normally look. And this is an important relationship for you to strike up, to make sure that educationalists understand the skills needed in your sector, because you need to meet some pretty exciting challenges in the years to come in this digital world, and be prepared for what changes are happening around you now and in the future, and there will be plenty. So can I congratulate all of those who are involved in UKWA Housing on this achievement of 75 years of success, and to your members for supporting it, and for the work you've done in spreading your knowledge and understanding of this sector. And I wish you every success in the future. And may I also add my congratulations to all your winners today, because they will be particularly important, yes, on their own merits, to those companies they work for and the communities in which they live, to understand a bit better the role of UK warehousing and logistics in our society. So my congratulations, my thanks to all of you for your hard work and for your interest and enthusiasm in Transaid. And I look forward to you having a very successful 75th anniversary year.